You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
What's up, North Georgia? It's a Wingin' It Wednesday right here, presented by the Pub in LJ. $1 wings all day long at the Pub. They're open till midnight tonight, so get on up there, man, and check them out. Dave Garner alongside John Davis, the refrigerator mover, back on board with us here on a Wingin' It Wednesday. And you and I do tend to wing it sometimes because, hey, man, you and I both got a lot of things going on in life there. So, sometimes we get in here in the mornings, and I don't want to say it's an afterthought. That's a poor choice of words. But, sometimes it is like, okay, hey, what do you want to talk about? What happened last night? We get together, we bring it to the table, and we bring it to the people. But today, man, we got some good notes, man. We got a lot of stuff prepared to talk about over this next hour. And thank you for joining us right here on the program. Thank you, big man.
Glad to be with you. Yeah, we both had a busy weekend, and I was kind of worried about Monday morning when I looked at you behind the mic, and I was like thinking, what in the hell are we going to talk about? And then all of a sudden but the hour was gone.
The hour was gone, and it tends to do that. And today we've got a few more notes, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. Sometimes you come in off the weekend, you kind of got to get your feet under you for those hard-working folks out there of you listening right now that have jobs. You must not be working too hard if you're listening us to live, because hey, it's 10 a.m. If you're listening live. So maybe you're in your car though. Maybe some windshield time for all you folks out there selling. For all of you guys out there hustling, getting after it, doing whatever it is that you do throughout the week, and maybe on a Wednesday morning. But we appreciate you guys listening in from wherever you may be listening from this morning, whether it be in your car, your home, your work, what have you. But again, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open at 866-888-0744. We open it up this morning. It's always open, but when we're on the air, it's even better because we like to hear from you guys and chime in there with anything you want to talk about in the world of sports. We've got FIFA World Cup starts tomorrow. I mean, it's on deck right now. The Atlanta Braves, a blown save, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Fortunately, we haven't seen a lot of those this year. We've been blessed in a lot of ways as Braves fans.
Second one. Yeah.
Yeah, just the second one. I'm rocking the Braves polo here today. A lot of information coming at you today. Big John, of course, bringing it with the whole Brendan Sorsby situation as we continue to kind of carry on that conversation. Also, NFL antitrust, streaming devices, different things in the news as well. And so, yeah, man, an action-packed show as always right here on this Wingin' It Wednesday. And, Braves last night, a tough one. They were the battle of the White Sox, the first to three. You sit here and you look at this team and you think they've only lost 2 series all year. Right. They split a 4-game series, so there's only been 3 series so far this season the Braves have not won. You look at a team like the White Sox and you think, well, let's go ahead and just check that one off.
Right,
we're gonna win that one. But losing the first game last night the way they did, Acuna goes out early with the hamstring tightness. Again, that's just one of those nagging injuries that tends to stay with you. And the Braves, of course, were up pretty much all night long until the end.
Yeah, Well, I mean, the relief pitching, as you said, let us down, and I was just looking here. They again, just one of these little silly stats that I like to look at. They were 1-11 with runners in scoring position, and left 10 guys on base. You just can't do that. I mean, all these guys. Now, I will say this: the Michael Harris and the middle of the order did very well. Well, yeah, Albies, Olsen, and Harris accounted for 8 of the hits. And but yeah, you can't lose games like this when you're up like that. But again, Dave, it's you're getting into the summertime of the schedule. It looked like they utilized about 6 pitchers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers. Iglesias obviously gets the loss. I knew when the ball came off the bat that wasn't going to stay in. Now, it just barely got out, but it just looked like one of those to where, if I could have had that pitch back, it would have been great. But, they're utilizing a lot, as we talked about, they're utilizing a lot of their relief pitchers. And, that's the whole thing, man. We've got you for an inning, so give me your stuff. Give me your best stuff. And, it happens. I mean, shoot, we're still 45-22. 23-11 way above 500 for that. But yeah, you can't. You got to get the series away from these guys, and thankfully we're still, I believe, about 9.5 games ahead of Philadelphia. So yeah, I mean, it's not as it's not the end of the world, and I believe our boy. Riley went 1 for 4, but Smith, the DH, went 0 for 5. So, and then Acuna,
unlike him.
Acuna being hurt 0 for 2. But the middle of the order played well. But Chicago did what they had to do, and I was able to watch it. I had the split screen TV with the hockey on.
I did too.
Yeah, yep. And so it was so a lot of sports going on last night.
Yeah, Braden Montgomery, what a MLB debut for that young man. For Chicago, had the walk-off home run, of course, and then had 3 RBIs, as well on the night there. So again, the White Sox take game 1 of the series with the Braves last night. We're talking about some of our Braves conversation yesterday. We had our Tomahawk take right here with our Braves insider, Will Cooper, who joined us on yesterday's program as part of a Rally Towel Tuesday. And, we were talking a little bit about Austin Riley, obviously struggling. Yeah, I did show some flashes over the weekend, which was nice to see. Want to see some consistency right there. But now the big question mark, obviously, with Acuna is how long is he going to be out? The good news is Drake Baldwin's getting set to start his rehab assignment, so they should be getting Drake back into the lineup soon. But it's as if those guys are basically just swapping spots. When Acuna's healthy, Baldwin's out. Baldwin will come back. Acuna will be out. So maybe we'll get some consistency there at some point, to your point, after the All-Star break or what have you. But another stat, looking at some of these games, and you're seeing it a lot around the league, there's the ABS, all the challenges with the strike zone, with all the different things that are going on there. You've kind of broken down a little bit of percentage, I think, in your notes here, too, as far as some of the teams that are more successful in their challenges. So.
Well, and they brought it up last night, I was just thinking about, I think they said Chicago's catchers were like at a 34-35%, and then I forgot what the batters were. I wanted to say it might have been in the mid-50s and stuff, but yeah, I just went back and looked at the stats just to see, because I mean, these numbers do matter. If you're the baseball nerd and you like to look at these numbers to see the success rates and the not success rates, Houston, the batter, when he challenges, is almost 59%, and when the Atlanta Braves are only 38%, 29th in the league. So it's put some glasses on there, boys. You got to pick it up a little bit. And then the catcher success, the Cubs are sitting at almost 72%, and Atlanta's sitting at 12th at 60%. And then the total success of the ABS, Arizona's sitting at 60%, Atlanta's sitting at 51% at number 19. So if you go to the total success, you see those numbers getting a little bit closer to each other. But when you look at the batter success, catchers obviously have a great eye, as you can imagine, for the Cubs to be able to go in and have that type of rate. But still, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but still, the majority of them are over 50%. So I guess in baseball, what is it? What do they say? You can fail 2 out of 3 times and still get a $10 million contract.
I mean, all you got to do is succeed 3 out of 10 times, and you're Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
If you're a career 300 hitter, they always say that. So, nonetheless, man, we're seeing a lot of those ABS challenges. The ones that crack me up, there are the ones that are right down the middle that don't get called. And it's like the catcher turns around, they automatically just start tapping their head because they know there's been some. And I know that's the thing about baseball, and then we'll get off of this and move on. But there's a lot of unwritten rules, to baseball. And I think one of those unwritten rules is, for an umpire, is if a catcher sets up outside anticipating something off the edge, and they throw it back over across the plate, sometimes they don't get the call because they're like, well, that's not really where you wanted the ball to go, so I'm not going to give you that call. Right. Even though the pitch may have broke back across the plate to a certain extent. And we've seen that a couple times. I know I was watching a video the other day of where that happened in a ball game, and they reviewed it. And, of course, it was right down the middle of the strike zone. But because of where the catcher was set up at, and then he kind of, it's almost as if the pitch crossed him up a little bit, had to turn his glove over. So, sometimes it gives the impression that maybe the ball's not in the strike zone there. But as an umpire, you can't move with the catcher.
Right.
Stay, in that
box. And as you know, Dave, it's all subjective. And then again, we talked the other day, a few weeks ago, I think maybe about the pitch framing, how the catcher sets up outside, then he brings his glove, or he sets up inside, and then if it goes out, he brings his glove back in. I think it's very subjective for the umpire. This is one rule that I do like. Because there have been refs out there that have just made some horrendous calls. And what was funny last night, I don't know if you noticed this, but the Braves were pitching, and the batter, he was a left-hander, and Iglesias threw 2 right on the inside corner. And it crossed the line. You could tell that it barely crossed the line, and the batter's like, he's got his hand, and he's like, he doesn't know what to do. Well, then the third strike, when it came in, he went like this, and then he just kept walking because he was like, hey, if I challenge this, we're screwed for the rest of the game. So I don't want to take a bet, take a chance.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of these guys they're extremely confident enough to where they can leave the batter's box and head on down to first, no matter what.
Maybe I'm just adjusting my helmet. It's all I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all I'm doing right there. Hey, we want to hear from you, man. What do you think? Jasper Coca-Cola text line open at 866-888-0744. Tomorrow, live show at Biggins Barbecue. We'll be there from 10 a.m. until 12 o'clock. Come by and see us, and don't get scared away by a busy parking lot. Their fast, friendly, and efficient service will get you back on the road in no time at all. So even if you see a crowd tomorrow, come on by, say hey to us. We'll be there. My man Billy D will be in the house, and we'll be there for our Tailgate Thursday edition of the program tomorrow. Speaking of, again, we'll wrap up baseball talk. College World Series starting this weekend. A lot of, as we mentioned, SEC representation, Ole Miss, Georgia, a slew of others going at it there. North Carolina out of the ACC, of course, West Virginia, and Troy, a mid-major, sneaking in there as well. So a good field of 8. It'll start this weekend, and we'll talk more about that later on as well. But yeah, man, it's that time of year. College baseball, college women's softball, World Series getting underway, and me personally, I enjoy watching it. I enjoy, like I said, I think I enjoy watching the women's game. Softball, especially collegiate women's softball, it moves so fast, man. You can't bobble, or you're not going to get anybody at first base. It's not like baseball.
Exactly. No, the competition's great, and some of the catches, some of those girls can smack the ball as well, and the pitching. It is very exciting, and Georgia Tech's been getting better and better, and I've enjoyed getting to watch them. I must admit I haven't watched it as much in the past as I do now, but anytime it goes back, Dave, to you and I. If sports is on, we're going to watch it. It's just now you got to make a decision. That's why we like the TV. Well, for mine, I've got YouTube TV, so I can have the 4 split screens and have all 4. And I told my daughter Olivia up in Raleigh, she's got one of those supersized TVs, and I'm like, Father's Day is right around the corner, because watching her TV, you can literally watch all 4 games at a much better Our TV's big, but I mean it's not that big. So, but you put all 4 games on, and you just got to keep going, and it drives Hester nuts because it's like, who are you paying attention to? And I'm like, all 4 of them. I mean, I'm just going back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're in a casino in Vegas. Exactly. All the games and all the betting lines.
Exactly.
Oh,
checking your sheet of paper. Checking. Okay. Check him off.
And speaking of that, we are going to talk a little bit about streaming services and different things coming up later in the show, as well as the big man, John Davis, again, the refrigerator mover, and again, Dave Garner, the professor, with you right here until 11 o'clock this morning. Chuck Oliver, the king of college football with Southern Sports Today, right at 11 o'clock today as we lead up. We'll have our own little version of college football chat as well. Keep it right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. This is the Wingin' It Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant, presented by your friends at the Pub and LJ $1 wings all day long. We'll be back right here on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV 15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Wide open on this Wingin' It Wednesday, presented by the Pub and LJ. $1 wings all day long at the Pub. Again, go check out our friends there. If you're up around North Georgia, swing through. And, man, they got some good ones. They got some good food all the way around as well. And so get on up to the Pub there in LJ, proud supporter of the Morning Rant. Dave Garner, John Davis back with you right here. Once again, the phone lines are open, or the text lines, I should say. The Jasper Coca-Cola text line, 866-888-0744. We want to hear from you. A lot of hot topics right here. We just wrapped up our baseball talk. And speaking of, and you're talking about your daughter Olivia being in Raleigh, again, Carolina Hurricanes, man, even up the series last night. Have they bought into the whole? I know they're from here, but are they Hurricane fans?
No, they watch it, and I think they went to one game with a friend up there. I mean, it's so expensive, it's just ridiculously expensive. And but no, they love it. They love to watch. I mean, Olivia's, I'm so thankful for my daughters, because if anything, when they were younger, if anything was on TV, they'd always sit down with me and watch it. And so, but yeah, they I think they have, and they've been up there. I want to say now about 8 years. So. They love the area, and there's just so much more to do up there, because it's really a smaller scale. They can go to the Durham Bulls baseball game, and then obviously they got the Carolina Hurricanes, and then being in the ACC, when Georgia Tech goes up there, they're able to try to sneak off and go to a game every once in a while.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, they're expensive. We looked into it up in Nashville to see the Preds, and I mean, the tickets are just, a couple $100s a piece.
Yeah, even for the upper deck.
Even for the nosebleeds. Speaking of nosebleeds, people were still paying well over $5,000 a ticket for nosebleeds the other night at Madison Square Garden. Of course, Game 4 tonight, by the way, for the Knicks and Spurs in the NBA Finals there, as well as, again, ABC pretty much has the coverage back and forth. It's the Stanley Cup Finals one night, it's the NBA Finals the next night, and they basically rotate until, both of them are done there. But yeah, man, some good series, some good postseasons going on. Of course, last night's hockey not going into overtime. It was the Canes winning 5-3 in Vegas, and now the series returns to Raleigh as Game 5 will be here in the next day or so. But yeah, man, exciting postseasons right now for the NBA and the NHL, and of course we talked about college baseball taking place this weekend. Hey, I'm not sure if you saw this or not. PGA And you and I were talking about this a little bit. It looks like they might be losing some sponsors, and we talk a lot about the Live and all the different things going on there. And so now the PGA, in an effort to try to branch out, is taking it overseas a little bit.
Well, they don't have any choice but to. They Rocket Mortgage up in Detroit, they just bailed after 13 years. This will be their last tournament. The one in Hawaii bailed. Sony, I believe, Sony Invitational. You're looking at these fields now, and you could have predicted this 20 years ago, and it's almost like the Tiger effect. You pick out about 10 or 12 of the best tournaments, the most prestigious tournaments, and that's all I'm going to play. And that's exactly what's happening. And so what's going on now is that when you go to the John Deere Classic, or when you go to the Houston Classic, or whenever you go to up in Detroit or some of those places where those used to be great tournaments. It used to always be the Atlanta Open, the Detroit Open, the Houston Open, the Nashville Open, and that, they before all the sponsors got in. Well, the sponsors come in, the money goes up, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And so, leading on from that, I think, and Live is getting ready to disband unless they have a plan behind the scenes. I was reading an article last night late, but yeah, they're having to go to Australia because now they want to bring golf to the world stage. When Live's done that for 5 years, so they're trying. They're on lifelines. Is basically what they are. But did you see the story about FIFA and the tickets? So I watched a show this morning. We have time. Good. I watched a show this morning with Buck Lanford on Fox Atlanta, and he was doing an interview with a sports guy out in Dallas. They can't get rid of the tickets. Wow. And it's just like especially in the smart, like San Francisco they're giving them away. And of course, now for someone, just say you and I, 8 months ago says, well, we're going to buy tickets now to get the packages and all of that. Well, guess what? We're paying the highest premium. So now, just like football, and I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, so I'll educate them in just a little bit. Like when we were in Buffalo, our stadium held about 81,000 people. If the game was at home and was not sold out, it would not play in that market. So everybody in Buffalo could not watch your team play in Buffalo if it wasn't sold out. And it's same. Well, the same thing here in Atlanta. But we were in Atlanta. We're lucky because we could watch Chattanooga. Where if you had the old antennas.
Exactly. Yes.
So what would happen is that Tops supermarket or Wegmans supermarket or even Ralph Wilson, he would go in and buy the remaining tickets. Now, granted, it might only be anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 tickets, but he would go in and buy those tickets so we could secure the blackout, and then he would give the tickets away to children's clubs and EMC or EMT and people like that. But now the FIFA, They cannot give them away. They are scrambling.
Crazy. I would have thought it would have been the opposite problem. I wonder if is it a matchup thing? Like maybe it's been on the country? Because I think about like Atlanta, we're getting Spain here. Like I can't imagine that it's not going to sell out for a country like Spain, coming up here next week.
Well, and so what they were blaming San Francisco is that they didn't have marquee teams out there. But it's all in New York. Mondami's gone in there and gotten all the tickets up to give out to all the kids and stuff. They can't sell out all their seats. So it sucks for the people who planned a year ahead of time because they had to pay the premium prices. But now you go down there,
it wasn't going to be that way.
Right, exactly. And so I think now you go down to Atlanta, there's a good chance you're going to get to see a game for $50 or less.
Yeah, boy, that'd be awesome. Because my son really wants to go. I'd love to go. I just, I didn't buy him ahead of time. But a lot of things going on. By the way, World Cup does get underway tomorrow.
Yeah.
Prelims, the group play, and then of course I think the first match at Mercedes-Benz I believe is next Monday or Tuesday. I think coming up. It's after the weekend, but everything gets underway tomorrow. There's matches really all over North America. It's not just in the U.S. There's I think the matches tomorrow are in Mexico. I think Canada's got a cut. They're hosting. Toronto's hosting. I think a couple over the weekend there as well. But almost 50 countries going at it, spread out. over almost 20 cities. So yeah, man, it's a big, whether you like soccer or not, and I know, John, you've even admitted this, like on a world scale. As much as we love American football and all those sorts of things, I mean, soccer is still kind of the world's most popular sport.
Oh, sure,
and this
sure.
is the biggest stage for it. Certainly is the FIFA World Cup, even more so than the Olympics or anything else. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting to have it in our backyard, even if you're not a soccer fan, which a lot of people aren't. But nonetheless, it's still something worth checking in just because of all the pageantry that goes along with it.
Exactly. 104 games, 48 teams, 16 cities. I went down and I went to the betting odds favorite because, as you said, I'm not up to date on it, but I have grown to like to watch it because I've tried to make myself learn all the how they play and how they set up plays, and each team definitely is different. But I've tried to learn as much as I can. But right now they're saying Spain's the favorite with France, England, Brazil next in line, and they're saying that Switzerland is the dark horse. That could pull ahead. And then also I was looking at an interview last night, or it might have been this morning, one of the women's that's on the women's national team. She thinks that if the U.S. gets to the round of 16, that it will be a really success because, as you know, and I have kept up with it a little bit over the past couple of years. USA went downhill in a hurry, and that was all because of their feeder programs. And so this new group organization came in, coaches and administrators and stuff came in, and they started building from the ground up. Now that takes time, as you understand. I mean, you don't go from 12 years old to playing on the men's national team at 16. You know what I'm saying? So, well, there might be some out there that can, but not across the board.
The new training facility is in Atlanta. I mean,
exactly.
It's here.
Yeah, and so. So they're building. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know they lost 2-1 to Germany the other day, but it looked like that they played pretty well. They didn't really care how the game ended. I think they were just trying to work on their game planning and strategy and everything. So she says top 16. I'm not thinking that they're going to win, but it would make it much more exciting, especially with 250 years coming up. And the way the schedule's playing out, wouldn't it be exciting if they at least got up as even the round of 8, something like that.
I at least want to see him make it out of group play.
Right, exactly.
And obviously, like you said, 250th birthday of the country. I don't know if you saw. There's a lot of different memes out there, obviously, that are kind of poking at it. And somebody said, "Okay, I don't really follow soccer, so in football terms, what is the U.S. men's chance of winning the World Cup?" And the answers were absolutely hilarious. Some people just put Dallas Cowboys. In other words, it ain't gonna happen. The Jets, that would be like the Dolphins winning the Super Bowl, the Jets winning the Super Bowl, etc. On and on and on and on.
Don't you dare say one team.
Oh, I'm not. No, I'm better than that. But anyway, no, it's teams that don't have a chance to even, But anyway, so there were a lot of fun poking at it. But hey man, you never know. Maybe the U.S. men, with it being on their home soil, with all those things, like you said, it seemed like they got a pretty favorable group. So hopefully, they can make it out of group and at least make it, like you said, into some of the latter, round.
And that was the last time the women's won theirs was when it was in the U.S. I think they beat Japan. They killed Japan. I think like 5-1, 6-1, something like that. So you never know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Sports is one of those. Again, we got to see our friend John Michaelides and Chris, and I did thankfully get it right when we went to Auburn to see the Shelbourne Shelleys. And we sat, we couldn't sit in the family section, as John, I didn't remember, but John was like, we wanted to sit in the family section, but we got over to the rowdy fan section where all the dads and the sons were over there, pounding beers and everything. But we still had great seats and the whole atmosphere. But you know what? Even when they make big plays and they might not score, I do remember just looking up at it for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. They were having a ball. I mean, the
Right,
excitement. They never sat down. They were having a ball, and that's what I see, especially in the European League. I don't watch this. I don't know why I don't watch that much in the U.S., but for some reason, the excitement and the I forget, they sing the songs, they have each have different chants and things like that. It's just really, really cool. So but yeah, I mean, I just think it brings people together. I think this is a great time to bring a lot of people together, with everything that's going to go on. I think one of them, they said that somebody had a match last night in Auburn, and they found Buc-ee's.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was one of the guys I was talking about. They've been following. He's gone viral on Twitter from Germany. That came over here, flew into Atlanta, went up in the North Georgia mountains, and now headed towards Houston to watch Germany play. But they stopped at Auburn because there was a game or of some sort, and got the Buc-ee's experience, got their first Waffle House experience, and rated it a 10 out of 10.
True Americana, yeah, exactly.
True Americana, right there on display. So again, the FIFA World Cup starting tomorrow, right here, man, in the United States of America, and of course, more specifically to Atlanta coming up next week. Hey, we're up against our second break. When we come back, we're going to transition into some football talk. We got Big John with us right here on a Wingin' It Wednesday, right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. This is the Morning Rant on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the Pub in J is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East J. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The Pub in J, where every visit feels like home. We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here on a Wingin' It Wednesday. The Pub in J is our sponsor, and they've got $1 wings all day long, and they're good, man. Get on up there and check them out. Appreciate you guys being with us. The Sports Pig is on Facebook. Our show, The Morning Rant, is on Instagram and YouTube. You can also check out the podcast version of the show daily on sportspigradio.com and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify and Podbeam. You can catch us on Twitter and interact with us on our social media. I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at John Davis _65, and this is The Morning Rant. Thanks for joining us right here. Hey, tomorrow live again at Biggins from 10 to 12. Come on out, stop by and say hey. And then next Friday, the 19th, is the second leg of our Bradley's Brunch and Lunch, Bradley's Bar and Grill summertime tour. And so next Friday, we'll be going 10 to 1 back at Bradley's off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb. Go ahead and put it on your calendar. It is actually, and I didn't realize this, it's actually a federal holiday. I think it's Juneteenth.
Yes,
so
yes.
A lot of people should be off work that day,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Come on by, man. You ain't got no excuse.
No.
I mean, no excuses, man. Come by and see us.
We're setting up the smoker, or my buddy Ryan Monet is setting up the smoker. We're going to have, John's going to have pulled pork barbecue sandwiches. I think he'll probably have some pork nachos. And then I believe Ryan and I are just going to throw a potpourri of things on the smoker around 7 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be done around lunchtime. Ribs, whole chickens, quarter chickens. Might throw some sausages on there. I don't know. Maybe throw a little bit of salmon on there for the ladies who would like to have some smoked salmon. So yeah, it's going to be a big day. Going to be selling raffle tickets for a chance to win all three jerseys, high school, Georgia Tech, and Buffalo. I've got my Georgia Tech and Buffalo jerseys here. I've got to pick up my Gilmer jersey in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah, I think we're selling them for, let's see, Appalachian Children's Center up in North Georgia. I believe you said the 12th circuit of circuit courts.
The Appalachian Judicial Circuit.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, Appalachian. Then the Boys and Girls Club in Jasper in North Georgia, and then the PAL, the Police Athletic League here in Cobb County, and I believe some of the proceeds from the food will be donated as well. So no, it's going to be a big day. It's a government holiday, and we're trying to get a lot of people out there to raise money and also to support one of the best dive bars in East Cobb. I believe the more and more people, we actually had, believe it or not, John Capone came to our little get-together Sunday night, and he said, guess who I just saw at Bradley's? He was up there, and then he left. He says, one of the guys that Hester works with in her field of business, and he and his wife were up there having a burger and some wings, and so there's going to be some repeat customers. It's going to be a fun day. I think he's going to do $5 Bloody Marys and mimosas, and the show will be on the radio. Of course, we'll be sitting out there on the patio and smelling all that goodness coming from the smoker.
There you go. I love it. That's Father's Day weekend next Friday, June the 19th. So go ahead and mark your calendar. So Jasper Coca-Cola text line open at 866-888-0744. And I do got a message right here from Olivia. And it says, I got the TV so that Pops would come watch the Grand Boys so that I can get a break. So there you go. Again, the text line popping off here with some personal connections there. And she also added, too, I do want to mention, because we were talking about the Hurricanes earlier, she said, we are Hurricane fans, but also the Sabres, of course. But tickets in Raleigh are just way too expensive. So, I get it, because they're like that everywhere. I mean, the NHL is a hot ticket. I mean, it really is. So, again, she had a couple other Braves questions too that we'll try to circle back around to here towards the end of the show. But I do want to jump in because we've got some stuff. Of course, we're going to talk about the whole, Brendan Sorsby situation. A lot of things going on there as far as, teams around the country now saying they don't want to even schedule Texas Tech due to that. But I want to dive into a little bit of NFL talk as well, because we've got you here, and kind of going back to our earlier conversation about streaming devices, things like that. More and more the NFL is putting it out there and pushing the pockets of fans to see exactly how far and how much they'll spend in order to watch these games. So much so, as we've mentioned, that government has stepped in, the FCC, DOJ, different folks have kind of jumped onto that to investigate the NFL over unfair practices, as far as their viewers and so forth.
I think what I would like to see, and I don't know the terminology, Dave, you might, but like the Nielsen ratings, and they show you who, how many people watch this game versus that game. Obviously, they have it, for the networks and everything, but I believe they're slowly driving the fan away. Especially maybe not the fans that are going to the games, but I believe they're slowly driving away the people who stay at home and watch that might not be able to afford a ticket or get a ticket. You're sitting there. The NFL gives a deal to us players, retired players, and it's like $350. And I'm like, dude, I got a bar right down the street that I can go spend $25 and have a
You're
beer.
right around the corner from Bradley's.
Exactly. Have a beer and some wings and watch the Bills play. But and unfortunately, as we have talked about, Congress is going to have to get involved because they are driving. And listen, Goodell's doing it. Goodell knows exactly what he's doing, and he's going to push the envelope as far as he can until the government gets involved, which we don't want, but he's leaving them no choice. And once Trump even starts talking about it, that it's starting to get a little bit worse. So what is it? Peacock, Netflix, Prime, Hulu, HBO, maybe, I don't know, but it's and just the pay-per-view, like the DirecTV pay-per-view packages and stuff. Something's got to give. And there was a time, and I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago, and really post or pre-COVID as well. If you notice the cameras, and I've said it before, but if you notice the cameras, they never show the upper decks. And very, very rarely. And so, and also, if you know this, and you know this old trick, the seats that they put in, they kind of match it to the colors of the teams, because if you can take a look at it and say, oh wow, the stadium's really full, but if you really look at it, it's like, no, there are pockets of seats that are empty. It just looks like the Ravens color, or
very much like they have different colors. They don't necessarily try to hide it, but it does give the feel that there's people there.
Right, exactly.
Some of those like empty spots there. So yeah.
So I don't know how far they're going to push the limit. I'm not going to pay for it. Well, okay, let me say this: I do pay for it because we're Netflix and Prime memberships, just because we stream. But I will say this: I'll stream if the Bills aren't playing. I'll stream before I'll watch football on one of those streaming channels.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
And that, because I have no interest in it. As I've told you, I'm not a big NFL fan, and this makes it even worse. But this makes me even hate Goodell even more. Just trying to get as much as he can. He's like sucking blood out of a turnip.
Where does it end? I think that's my question.
And that's the problem. I'm sorry, you're right. That's the problem. It's going to end with Congress having to step in and say, no, you're not doing this anymore. You're not going to treat the fan that way.
Right. I mean, they're going to start having, Wednesday night football on your Ring doorbell camera app. Download the app to watch the game. It's going to be some random, Ravens Bears Wednesday night game now. I forgot YouTube. They're doing it. They're having games on YouTube now. YouTube, Amazon Prime. I mean, all the Hulu, different ones or what have you. And that's how, and you have to, and for those of you like John and I that have YouTube TV, you'd have to back out of the app and then go into the different, and this, that, and the other. Which I know it's a few extra clicks, and it seems like, well, it's not that much work, but at the same time, you're having to pay for it, and that's the biggest thing there is the money. But, again, Congress, way back in the 60s, whenever they passed the whole antitrust exemption to be able to, allow games to be broadcasted on the airways, and now here we are, at this point where, basically the NFL seems to be kind of abusing those things now with all these streaming platforms there. And, it's just more money in the pocket, just like fantasy football and all these other things that drive that attention and engagement to the sport.
Okay, we're moving on because I'm mad. We got a couple of minutes. So did you see 5 law firms accused, it's still with the NFL, 5 law firms accused of defrauding the NFL's concussion fund. Now that's something that really crawls up my you-know-what, because you've got people that are going out there and listen, some of the players are culpable as well, but these firms are going out there and they are doctoring the reports and to get more money, because these law firms, I get messages from law firms all the time saying, hey, let us represent you on this concussion lawsuit firm or lawsuit that the NFL has come out with. They've already settled for more than $87 million, and the cap is, when you hear that there is not a cap on the money that can be given out, then somebody's conniving or trying to figure out a way how they can get their piece of pie, and that's what these 5 have done, and so that really really chaps me, because it's just unbelievable. 1.5 billion to former players from the uncapped settlement fund, and the league was pleased with the way it was going until they uncovered these 5 law firms, and now they're going to dig into it more. And I think at the end of the day, all that's going to do is hurt the players. Not me, thankfully, because I'm sane, but I've got friends, unfortunately, and teammates that aren't, and I'm afraid it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, no, I agree, and we'll continue to talk about that too. We'll talk about it on the other side of a break. Matter of fact, as we transition to our final segment of this Wingin' It Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant, brought to you by your friends at the Pub and L&J with $1 wings all day long until midnight tonight. Stay with us right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
Sure, you could go to one of those fancy restaurants tonight, but do they stuff their jalapeno poppers with bacon cream cheese? Do they hand bread everything? Do they have authentic Mexican fish tacos? We didn't think so. Bradley's Bar and Grill has been the neighborhood's favorite upscale dive since 1998. Scratch-made mozzarella sticks, goat cheese, fried green tomatoes, wings that'll ruin all other wings for you, and yes, clean bathrooms. Bradley's Bar and Grill off Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb. Come for the food, stay for the vibe. Leave only because we eventually close. Find us at bradleysbarandgrill.com.
Morning grind with pork rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Back here on this Wingin' It Wednesday. Again, the pub in LJ with $1 wings all day long today. Appreciate this, guys. We'll be back out at the pub here pretty soon as well. Again, a lot of live shows coming up over the next month or so, and some big news to share as well. We'll do that on the 19th while we're at Bradley's. About some of the things coming up with this show and the Sports Pig. Some exciting things happening here on this station as we continue to grow it and make it bigger and even better than it already is. Definitely going to continue to grow this thing, and of course the show. Honored to be working alongside Big John Davis. Again, my man Billy D, the Golden Boy Will Cooper. Again, I'm Dave Garner. This is the Morning Rant. Visit us on social media, as we mentioned. You can also interact with us online. John on Twitter at @JohnDavis_65. I'm at Dave Garner 777, and this is the Morning Rant. Before the break, you were talking about, again, the law, the firms and so forth. And one of the big things that we talk about with you being a professional athlete, and of course the history that you have, is the concussion thing and the league, taking care of folks or what have you. That is one thing that we bring here, a different perspective that you don't get anywhere else, because you have been in that situation. But to your point, like you said before the break, I mean, a lot of your former teammates are struggling with things that fortunately you haven't had to yet, or hopefully you won't ever have to. But again, man, I think it's just a matter of doing the right thing. You know what I mean?
It is. And about 5 years ago, they offered a baseline study for all of us to take, and I took it, and the girl's like, dude, you don't even need to be here. So I was thankful, but I went ahead and finished all the tests. So I have a baseline in the bank, so I'm sure. Good. Yeah. And if I feel something's going on, Hester thinks that I'm off or something. Well, she thinks I'm off all the time anyway, but the other way, then they can go straight. They can go straight back and test me, and then compare it to that, which is good. But no, right. I've got teammates, unfortunately, and it's sad. But people like this, there's a special place in hell for those guys that try to take advantage of the people who, because sometimes, Dave, to be honest with you, some of these players, they don't have any help. They don't have a significant other that can help them muddle through everything that they need to go through, especially during this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we'll continue that conversation right here on the Morning Rant with my man Big John Davis. Hey, speaking of, let's continue the conversation as we transition into a little college talk.
From the buzzer beaters to the big hits. If it's making noise in the world of sports, we've got something to say about it. This is Now That's What I'm Talking About.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your all-access pass to the hottest takes in the world of sports.
All right, so we were talking a good bit yesterday about this, and we touched on it a little bit earlier in the week as well. But again, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby reinstated by the Big 12 after an injunction was made in a court out in Lubbock. That allowed Sorsby, who had been suspended by the NCAA, to return to his team, where he is expected to be able to play this year amidst all the different gambling things, of course, that happened, and entered rehab over this. We talked about it when the story broke initially, but now it's ballooned into this whole other thing now, where apparently he's being reinstated, and that has kind of had a domino effect in the world of college athletics, especially schools, in the conference right now, who are currently having talks about not scheduling Texas Tech anymore, and that's even gone outside of the conference, because even Georgia and Nebraska, a couple of other schools, have said, we're putting the kibosh on any talks about scheduling Texas Tech moving forward in anything.
Well, bad day for the NCAA. It is a true black eye for Texas Tech that they would even let Brendan Sorsby come back and play. I feel bad for the kid. He needs to be in rehab. You don't. We talked about it. You don't get cured in 3 months. This kid. So let me just to give comparison to our audience out there. There was a quarterback for Iowa State. And I'm just going to write down the notes that I got from them, or I'm going to speak. I wrote it down, and I'm going to tell you right now. He had 366 bets, $2,800 waged, lost his season and career to ever play quarterback again. Brendan Sorsby for Cincinnati, 2,900 bets, $90,000 waged, and he's eligible after a 2-game suspension after a court injunction. Now tell me where the fairness is with that. It is a true black eye, not so much the NCAA as much as it is Texas Tech. Now you flip over, the schools can opt not to play, but they would probably have to pay some sort of a fine to get out of that game when you leave them that far or that close to the season. I found it interesting that one of the big boosters for, and I'm not picking on Georgia. I'm just going to say, because it's out there in the papers and you can read it. The big booster out at Texas Tech was like, "Hey, Georgia needs to clean their house, before they start coming at us with all the 100 arrests over the Kirby Smart years." And so there is some validity to that because Georgia's been known to be locked up in the polka every once in a while. But it is whatever the teams do. First and foremost, the story has gotten away from Brendan. Okay, on a personal level, we both agree that he needs help. You don't get help in 3 months. Now you start getting into everybody, wanting to say, "Well, we're not going to play him." Well, what good does that do? I mean, unless I'm missing the big picture, is he going to bet again? I would highly doubt it because they have come out with a thing that all the kids have to put on their phones now, to where it looks if it ties them into betting.
Track any kind of activity or what have you.
But you and I know as well, you still have those parlay cards. And I believe, Dave, all this is going to do is it's going to open it up for more and more players to do it. And the reason being is that they're going to go find a judge in their area and say, "Oh, we're going to slap you on the wrist. Please don't do that again." I truly believe that that's what's going to happen. And I hope I'm wrong, and I could very well be wrong. I'm just saying, I just believe that they're looking at Brendan right now and saying, "Well, hell, this guy just bet $90,000. He got a 2-game suspension. I'm going to go ahead and do it and press my luck and see how far I can go with it."
Yeah, exactly. See how far you can go with it. To your point, the kid from Iowa State, again, had a whole career taken away, and it spans into other sports. Obviously, you can go down the list with Pete Rose and all the different ones, betting, gambling, and this, that, and the other. So, again, for the injunction to come in, and it came from the court. It wasn't the NCAA, obviously. Now the NCAA is filing a countersuit or what have you back at the court over this decision right here, because it really does undermine, for everything that we talk about with the NCAA not having a backbone and really being able to make decisions. This was something they did step in and made a decision about, but then they get their legs cut out from underneath them and they have the decision completely overturned. So you're right. It does leave a black eye against the NCAA by no fault of their own, because now they're getting overruled in a court. And so all of a sudden, this young man, and again, we hate it, like I said, I mean, nothing against him at all. I mean, he certainly needs help. He deserves, a chance, certainly. But I think when you look at this, it kind of goes beyond that young man. It's more now about the what's right in court. And when you look at some of the other people that have been victimized the same way that didn't have that opportunity.
It went from being about Sorsby to everybody because the NCAA and the teams interjected themselves into it. And I just feel like, again, it goes back to, Dave, when you give these kids thousands and thousands of dollars, I mean, if they don't have any mentorship or any parenting,
right.
and you get bored easy, you go to the bar, you're sitting there, oh, there's Keno. I can do Keno. What else can I do? And so you got the gambling machines and stuff like that. So it's a problem. I mean, it's got to be stopped. Again, it goes back to Saban. They gotta put something together that's going to make this thing work. If not, they're going to lose it forever. I mean, I just got a note from my buddy Warren Sellers, and he basically said he's done. He's not going to watch anymore. And so I think that's except for your top 15, 20 teams, that could be the way it is. You're going to be done with it, and it's going to hurt the NCAA. Overall, and it's just going to trickle down to all these other teams.
Well, college athletics aren't going away by any means, but I think they're ruined. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think college athletics at this point is so broken that I'm not even sure a Nick Saban can come in and fix it. You know what I mean?
I believe you're right. Yeah.
And I'm kind of like you. I mean, because we talked about it. We said, look, we don't mind some of the athletes, especially with the NIL part of it. Like if there's a something being used in their image, and this, that, and the other. We talk a lot about that. But I think once you let money in the way that they did, and to the extent they did, I think from that point on, it ruined it. I mean, it really did, because I don't think we would have been talking about some of these gambling things and different things had the money not come into it in the first place for these guys to even have that kind of money laying around to throw bets.
Right. Well, I talked to Brent Key about it a little bit, and he's like, John, this is what's happening. These are the rules. I have to play by the rules that they have given me. Do I like it? No. There's nothing about it that Brent Key likes, but he's like, they've given it to us. They've shown us how to, what we're going to do or how we got to do it, and we're going to go ahead and take it. He's not a manipulator. He's not a cheat. I'm not saying any of the schools out there are cheats or manipulators. I'm just saying that they have been given a set of guidelines, and they're going to follow them, and this is what it's come to, and it all falls back onto the NCAA. And they're trying to scapegoat it. They're wanting somebody to come in and fix it because they don't have the balls to come in there and fix it themselves. And that's my honest opinion. If I'm wrong, people, please text us. Let me know, because you're not gonna hurt my feelings. But that's the way. I'm so fed up with the NCAA right now. I would welcome somebody to kind of pull me back in and be a fan.
Yep, exactly. Trump's going to come in and be like, we're going to put the NCAA back on a plane and send them back wherever the hell they came from. But anyway, hey, we're out of time right here on this edition of the program, man. We've had some fun, especially in this last segment. But Big John Davis, thanks for being with us right here on this Wingin' It Wednesday, partner. We'll see you again on Friday for our Friday Happy Hour show, man.
Great seeing you, man.
All righty. That's going to wrap things up again for us right here today. The Sports Pig on Facebook, our show, The Morning Rant, on social media, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Also, the podcast version uploaded every day to our website, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast. Again, interact with us on Twitter. I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at John Davis _65. And this is The Morning Rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio. Chuck Oliver up next.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve, and let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.